Hello fellow YouTubers, Tutagamon here. In this video I'm going to benchmark Shadow Warrior 2 on a single GTX 1070 paired with a Core i7-860. This video is recorded with an external recorder at 60 frames per second as always, so what you will see in this video will be pure performance. The system is overclocked. Core i7-860 is running at 4 GHz. There we are. It has 12 GB of memory and the graphics card is a single GTX 1070 made by KFA2. It is the EX model running at 2 GHz. Now for this benchmark I'm going to use fraps to collect frame rate data from a custom gameplay session. I have already loaded my previous run on the Core i5-2500K with the 1070, so we can have an immediate ballpark comparison of how the two systems fare with each other. Of course, Shadow Warrior 2 is a dynamic game. You do not get the same enemy spawning on the same locations all the time, but I will try to do as best as I can, at least to be on the same ballpark of gameplay time. So video options, I'm using 1080p resolution of course, and for the overall graphics quality I'm using the Ultra preset. The Ultra preset affects all these settings, so we have an immediate same setting for testing various systems. And let me go to my benchmarking location. Okay, the game is loaded. I'm starting the benchmark.
Hold yourself together, man. Mess with the bull, you get the way.
Motherfucker!
Mess with the bull, you get the way. Oh, hello, no ammo friends. You ready to kill some people?
Looks like this isn't your day. Do you feel lucky, asshole?
New clip, new life. Small, but efficient.
Okay, usually I beat these guys, but now I lost. Okay, fuck it, I believe we have enough benchmarking data. Let's see. It is a good thing I lost because my benchmark ended up longer anyhow. So we have 115 frames per second for the 2500K, and we have 110 for the 860. Very similar performance, very close. We'll see the comparison in a minute. So the frame rate is very good. The frame times also seem to be very decent, and I believe this time I do not see these weird frame spikes that I was seeing on my previous run. We will see what the frame analytics tool will have to say about that. The run was not exactly CPU limited, but it was not GPU limited either. We do have some drops in the GPU usage at some points, especially where heavy battles were taking place during the first part and the end part, as you can see here. The CPU usage is medium for most of the cores, higher on CPU number 2. Let's see what the CPU usage as a whole has to say. Thankfully we can see that when it is required, the CPU usage does go above 50%, so the game engine and the drivers and everything, of course, can take advantage of the hyper-threaded cores up to a point. Of course, the majority of the game run is running below 50% CPU usage, so we do not have a clear usage of the logical cores, but it's not too bad. I have seen worse. It is borderline 50% at least, so the CPU is used properly, and the temperatures are okay. 5.7 gigabytes of RAM usage. The core clock is close to 2 GHz, a little less than 2 GHz by 26 MHz. Nothing too serious. 3.4 gigabytes of video RAM usage. Very good. And let's see the analysis of the run. I believe I'm going to load my previous run first on my network drive. Shadow Warrior, my friend. I believe this is the one I need. Let's open it and we'll see. 115, yes, this is the one. And let me also load my GTX 1070 plus i7-860, which I just did. Very good. 109.7 compared to 115. Now, as you can see, I told you earlier that the stuttering even in MS Afterburner seemed quite lower compared to the 2500K run. I'm not sure if it is the CPU that is helping the hyperthreading, I mean, or the newer drivers, but you can see in the comparable that the comparable frame rate is essentially the same for the two systems, although in raw processing power the 2500K was a little faster. Let's focus on the 860 for now. Let me zoom out to 60. I'm going to be using this setting for comparisons from now on, because you have to have a steady zoom in level. So these are the frame times of the 860 and the 1070 we just saw, the benchmark of which we just saw. We do still have some stuttering from frame to frame, weird jumps, and the frame rate variability is also very high, but that is due to the nature of the game. Open world game with a lot of action, all sorts of crazy things are happening. Let me see how the frame times look when I zoom out to the 60 milliseconds threshold. Yes, you can see the extra weirdness of the frame times on the 2500K run. I believe I will have to do a new run to verify if this is due to the CPU or the driver. If it is due to the driver, I will have to make a new video on that system, but this will have to wait a little until I finish the GTX 1070 runs on the 860. We will see the comparison in a second of the two runs in the frame times. Sorry, I wanted the 860. Of course, regarding 60 frames per second smooth frame rate, this system is more than capable to do it. 16.7 milliseconds, only 47 frames are affected of the many thousands of these, 0.08%. That's nothing really. The histogram of the frame times also shows a very good performance from the system. All frame times are at 8, 9, 10 and 11 milliseconds, most of the frame times, so we have an excellent performance. Let me see how the histogram looked on the 2500K. Also very good, but a little more scattered. You can see that the frame times are a little more scattered on the 2500K. And now for the comparison. No, let me make this blue, and let me, oh, that is red. Okay, we're good to go. So this is the weirdness of the frame times of the two runs. The 2500K, as you can see, has a lot more stuttering in its frame times. All these red are frame times that have been delayed, and you can see how close they are together, while on the 860 the frame times seem to be also spiky, but less delayed than the 2500K for some reason. I'm not sure why. The average, of course, the average frame time is a little lower than on the 2500K, is a little lower than the 860, but still, as we saw, the comparable frame rate is the same for both systems. We will see that more clearly in a moment. The frame rate itself is very close on both systems. The game is primarily GPU limited, even with such high frame rates. 109 for the 860, 115 for the 2500K, just a little faster, but not by much. Min, max and average is also a little better for the 2500K. The max is a little higher for the H60, nothing serious. Variability and stuttering. This is the most important, the most interesting aspect of this benchmark. We can see two things: that the variability of the frame rate was a little lower on the 2500K, but the stuttering was a lot higher than the H60. So this difference is what gave us the similar comparable performance of the two systems, and we can see that in the percentile, very weird chart indeed. I have not seen something similar before. We can see that the two percentile lines are overlapping with each other for a very big portion of the frame times. The H60 is just a tiny bit slower at the 13.3 milliseconds. The 2500K at 13.165 milliseconds. Very similar performance. However, you see it, if you enable vertical sync, of course the difference will be nothing, but still the H60 surprises me with its smoothness in this run. Useless graph, broken, and the percentiles, the interesting comparable frame rate chart. 91.6, 91.1 for the H60, very similar, and that is due to the very high stuttering of the 2500K system. Again, I will have to look if this is due to the newer driver of the H60 or it is actually the CPU that is helping this time. The game version is exactly the same, however, I'm sure of it, and we'll see, I guess, in a future video. If the need rises, I will make a new 1070 and 2500K video to study the frame time specifically with the newer driver. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in my next video.